What is up, babes? Chapter came out after a break week. In the meantime, I didn't make a video last week like I kind of planned. I did finish Yu Yu Hakusho, which is solid. Kind of a rough ending to it, but very good. It was the first time I read through the whole thing. I watched the anime when I was younger. Definitely a good series. I think when it's good, it's very good. Slow start, really kind of a terrible end when they were just expanding the verse. It's kind of sad, but that's not why we're here. We're here for chapter 1166, New Tales, which I thought was a very good chapter, kind of summing up what we think might be the end of the flashback, but it seems like there's going to be at least, what, like 3 to 4 more? 2 to 3 more? Tough to say 100%. They kind of have to give this to us now just because it is the end of the flashback, and this is, at the end of the day, about the Giants. I know this is Rox's flashback, but it's from the perspective of the Giants, but we'll get there. It seems like the attack that Garp and Roger pulled off was enough to break the curse. Now, that's interesting because we know whatever they were talking about last chapter, the mass of the attack was enough to stop him and change him back. Obviously, completely gassed and unable to move. It was just up to Garland, Summers, and the other one whose name I am forgetting, but had that interaction with Dragon to clean things up. Now, I have a couple of questions here. One, I know that we're not supposed to like Saint Garland at all. I mean, Garland, we don't like him. We don't like him. I think Oda makes it clear that we don't like him. But at the end of the day, he's kind of a softie. He's kind of a biatch because he got smashed by Rox, comes in here and cleans up the mess, but he's a loser. He's a loser. We haven't seen him really win a damn thing. He beat up Loki when he was already kind of cuffed up. He's a loser. He beats people up after they're already beaten. So it's kind of like I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I don't like you, but I can't prove anything that you are because you seem weak, you seem soft, and you seem like a bitch. It's interesting here because Rox and Roger couldn't have been that far away, and I feel like if they really wanted to, they could have easily been killed by Mu or her subordinates. But for whatever reason, the right and left arm of Roger save both Garp and Roger and run away, saying that Rox has been killed. And they have this nice kind of honor moment where they're like, what about Rox? He gone. But everyone's leaving. What I love about that big panel with the sky splitting open, which is such a One Piece thing, is that we see Marines, pirate ships, the Roger pirates, everybody's like going off in what seems like basically the same direction, and they're probably just looking at each other like, you don't want to keep fighting, do you? Like, everyone's good. Everyone just saw that island like become nothing that we were all just fighting on. Everyone's cool not doing anything. And they were all like, you know what, like, just go your own way. We're happy with what we got. Let's just not fight anymore, please. Even though Roger's crew at that point probably would have decimated anybody who tried. But even they were like, no, we're good. We're trying to get out of here. We got what we wanted. They're the winner of this whole situation. They made away with the treasure. They made away with the girl. They made away stronger. They are the only group that's still together. It's definitely a win for Roger's crew. They got a bunch of treasure that they were waiting on him to awaken, to open. And when they open it, they find baby Shanks, which is a big reminder on how Shanks found... can't remember her name. Shanks' daughter. Shit, what's her name? Oh, it's gonna bug me. I can't think of it. His daughter, remember, she was found in the treasure chest during that movie of the singing and the songs where they fought the evil Frosty the Snowman. That is real. I'm sure that if you're watching this, you've probably seen the movie. But yeah, news spreads about Rox's pirates being wiped out. And what I find very interesting here is this is about 50 years ago. I think it was like, what, 47, 43, something like that. I can't wait to get my hands on that Morgan's fella. So Morgan's is still doing the news almost 5 decades earlier. So that guy's got to be old, and that guy's got to know some shit too, but he's been doing this for a long time. And what kind of blows my mind is it seems like he's sometimes on the Marine side, sometimes he's not, but you would think that Mu and other people would have an issue with him and could have stopped him by this point, but they haven't. The news has been flown, which I find interesting because he's spreading propaganda almost frequently, almost to a degree of like, we should deal with this guy. They haven't. We have an interesting talk here between Sengoku and Garp, which further explains why Garp is still a member of the Marines. Take a look. Take a look there. Got that from Japan. Um, Basically just saying like, he's like, everybody has their own motivations and stuff. It annoys me, Sengoku's opinion. I think it makes him look a little softer. Just because, and I get it, he's a peacemaker. I forget who was talking about it before, but there's the peacemakers and there's the revolutionary. And in this, he's the peacemaker and Garp's the revolutionary, where he's like, no, we cannot stand for this. Like, change has to happen, which he hasn't really done in over 40 years. But Sengoku is the peacemaker, where he's like, in order to keep all these nations together and to keep the world at peace and to have as little commotion as possible, not only making our job easier, but making the land peaceful, easier to rule, our domain gets spread further. So you see the good side of the Marines here. You just are upset. And I mean, we all have to side with Garp at this point, just because we've had the side of the revolutionary the entirety of all of One Piece. I mean, that's what we're doing, where it's just kind of like, dude, like, we need to do something. He's like, but you're at the bottom of the cliff. And he's like, the people at the bottom of the cliff need a guard dog too. Like, we can't just stand on our ivory tower and act like everything's okay when it's fucking not. So definitely some interesting dialogue there. We go back to Loki, who's getting some flashbacks of Rox. You're very sad that he has passed, and just teaming up with Harold. And he realized how much that guy loves his dad. And when he comes back, but Loki understands that he's not coming back because he's reading the news about how Rox has perished. And then we go to Harold. Then we get to the Giants, which this part's interesting as well, just because the timing here of like 40 plus years makes this all so much more interesting. But he's beating this dude up who's like stealing from humans. It's not about what's happening. It's about what he's saying. And he's like, and I didn't want to jeopardize our chances of joining the world government. And I have forsaken my friend who has begged me, and I left him to die when he said that his luck had ended, and I turned my back on him. And he's very upset. And I love to see that, because they did have a bond that was kind of weird, that was kind of rival-like. But at the end of the day, Harold, I think he paid him a solid. He could have helped him more. And if those two teamed up, I think Rox is right that it would have been a huge fucking issue for anybody that had to deal with them. But that never came to pass. Navy HQ. We get literally like 4 or 5 panels here. And it tells us so much about the relationship between Garp and about Dragon. And he's like, Dad, I'm going to quit the Marines. And he says, K. And I despise you. K. And he gives him the key to get out. And he's like, just get out of here. Because what Garp realizes is, he's like, no, your opinion's right. I get where you're coming from. I don't think you necessarily have the wisdom. And you definitely... He saw what... They both saw the same thing, but they saw it from a very different lens. They saw it from a lens of somebody who is super strong, which, Garp, come on. Like, why is Dragon so soft even at this point? To... Which he's got to be like a teenager, because the ages aren't really adding up. He's got to be real young, Dragon. So we question, like, how did he get super strong? But Garp understands it. He's like, I understand that you don't want to be here anymore. That makes sense to me. Like, I get it. Just as Roger was the same way, and I respect him to the end. You don't want to be here because you don't think that you can cause change within here. Once again, the revolutionary and the peacemaker, and even Garp in his maturity is like, I guess there's always a bigger revolutionary. No pun intended, but he's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm so integrated into the system, and I understand that the damage and power that I have from here. But where you're at now and having to claw up and the years it would take you, I understand that you want to leave. I really feel like that's what he's saying, and it seems very mature of him just to know. And it also is very Luffy-like of Dragon to act that way, to be like, I'm out. Like, you guys, this is a bunch of bullshit, horse piss. I am not staying for this garbage. Like, you cannot be okay with this. Why are you okay with this, Dad? And Garp's like, I'm not. There's just so much communication just from those Ks. Those Ks alone killed me. I was like, okay. But I'm like, I get it. Like, I totally get it. He's already had all these conversations with everybody on every side. He's had Sengoku. He's had Roger. He heard Emu. There was just so much going on at the time. It's awesome. Harold's talking about how Loki and Harujin are going to be equals. You guys are brothers now. Get over it. Harold barges in to Marine headquarters, rips off his horns, and says, I want to atone for our sins, even if it means becoming a slave. And the last thing we see is Imu's eye. Now, the thing that I wanted to point out here is Imu actually talks about this when he's fighting Rocks 2 chapters ago. And he's talking about the subordinates that he has under him. I have found excellent soldiers to serve my will, gigantic, harmless, and conflicted. And then he's like, you mean the giants? They only want peace. Indeed, a golden opportunity. Such a willing puppet of a king will never come along twice. So whatever Harold is about to do in this flashback is currently very detrimental. Whatever he decided to do, very detrimental. Now, we know the entire time in One Piece how important it is to be a giant and giant's blood and just the ability and power of size all the way dating back to Thriller Bark, if not before then, just how important it was to be big. And we don't really see too much of it. We know that Harold's going to die. We know that he's going to die not even much after this happens. We also know that we have not seen much in terms of giantage on the side of the Marines, the Gorosei, anything. So we haven't seen it. So whatever he's about to do, not only have we not seen, but hasn't really come to pass. So, but I feel like Imu is shown here, and he knows this even back then, that something happened with what Harold's about to do for providing himself that there's going to be a real issue right now in the current thing of One Piece. The secret weapon that they have behind closed doors is about to be formed. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, it's happening right now. I don't know if we're going to see in the flashback. I feel like it's very Oda-like to kind of hint at it and then show it to us in the real world once shit really starts to go down, once the revolting really starts to begin, once the revolutionaries really get the ball rolling. We're going to see whatever this is. We don't have a break next week. A little longer video than normal. I could keep talking. This was a jam-packed chapter in terms of information. It doesn't seem that way, but I'm telling you, there's a lot going on. I'll leave you with this. Okay.